Right, but a shock bid for Elliot Anderson incoming from Manchester United, as well as an update on Rasmus Højlund and the potential of that deal being done in the January window with a permanent deal expected, as well as some other interesting stories. This is your latest Manchester United news. So yeah, let's get into it now. We know Manchester United have been linked to a lot of midfielders. And this is the story that's coming out about Elliot Anderson, obviously playing for Nottingham Forest right now, who is actually Manchester United's next game, so it'd be a good opportunity to see him then. But this is what has been reported from Plettigol, who again is a German source, but it's certainly an interesting conversation to have anyway. Manchester United and Newcastle are two of the main top clubs closely monitoring Elliot Anderson. Their interest has always been registered from Manchester United. Forest are aware he's a key player for them, understand for a fee in the summer of around 100 million to 120 million pounds. It's currently being demanded. There's no release clause. So listen, Elliot Anderson obviously left Newcastle a couple of seasons ago, had a couple good seasons now at Forest, and obviously looking like one of the key players right now for Forest and potentially England for the World Cup coming up. Now again, Manchester United are in desperate need of a midfielder. We don't know what's going on with Casemiro. Ugarte again isn't getting regular first team football and isn't good enough for Manchester United, and that has kind of sparked the interest for Manchester United. Now if you look a few weeks ago, there was a 6-man shortlist being released by Ben Jacobs, and he talked about Andre Santos in there, who again has been linked with United with a potential swap move with Kobbie Mainoo, which I don't think should happen. Conor Gallagher was another one. Obviously Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba, Elliot Anderson was in there as well. So yeah, I mean, there was some decent players in there, and I think Elliot Anderson, for me, I did say he would be my third choice, but he certainly is a player that I wouldn't mind having. Again, 100 million to 120 million pounds is a lot of money. I think if you look at Baleba, it's going to be that sort of money. If you look at Adam Wharton, it's probably going to be 80 plus anyway. So I think if you're signing any of those top three midfielders that I mentioned, they are all going to come with a price. And I think Elliot Anderson, for me, I think he is probably better than Baleba. I still think Wharton's the best out of the three. Now again, it's certainly a conversation to have. He's looked very, very good for Forest in such a short amount of time that he's been there. As I said, Manchester United play Forest on Saturday, so it'd be a perfect opportunity to see what he's like. But yeah, obviously Newcastle being interested as well could be something to look at. Obviously, he was at Newcastle. Before he went to Forest, and again they had to sell him for FFP reasons. But listen, it's not like someone who doesn't start for Forest. He played 42 games for them last season. This season he's played 12. Out of the 9 Premier League games he started, 9. So he is a very, very key player for Forest, and obviously they got a new manager under Sean Dyche. Depending on how this season goes, it could be very potential for Elliot Anderson to leave Nottingham Forest. And again, obviously Newcastle I think he is in Newcastle, he's from Newcastle, so being a Geordie guy, would he want to go back to Newcastle? That's certainly something that you look at. Depending on if Manchester United as well qualify for European football, we know that Baleba and Wharton were two players who ideally wanted European football. Was interesting though, because in the summer, when we were linked to him, it was David Ornstein who said he's open. I think it was David Ornstein for Fabrizio saying that he was open to join without European football. So it certainly is interesting there. Obviously Forest as well haven't had the greatest start to the season. In the Premier League, they've lost quite a few games on the bounce. They lost to Bournemouth the other day, I think yesterday. But yeah, obviously they got their new manager in. I think he is certainly a top player. Again, depending on where both respective clubs finish, can easily kind of figure out where he wants to go. But he certainly is an interesting option. He will obviously cost a lot of money. But again, that midfield, a lot of money needs to be spent on it. We spent over 200 million on our attack over the years. I think our defence is pretty calm, but we have spent a lot of money on there as well. So yeah, I think we need to certainly bring in some midfield reinforcements. Now, on Rasmus Højlund, Manchester United have reportedly given the green light to complete a permanent deal for Rasmus Højlund in January. The Italian side are keen to trigger their obligation to buy, with talks set to be in an advanced stage. Fabrizio Romano said this: the expectation of all parties involved is that Napoli will trigger the €44 million buy clause for Rasmus Højlund in the next months. very, very soon. Obviously, they're happy with HOJLUND. I think he's done very, very well out in Napoli. He's looking good, he's scoring goals, he's confident. And again, listen, I'm happy with HOJLUND. Amarim has also said that as well. Don't have any personal issues with the player. And I think HOJLUND was just one of those players who we always knew he was going to be a success elsewhere. I just don't think he had it at Manchester United. Maybe he was a young player adapting to the new league. And I think Serie A will always be a good league for him. And I think that 44 million euros, which I believe is about £38 million, would be very good for Manchester United to get at this current moment. We need a lot of money coming in. And again, 40 million is pretty good. And well, £38 million, 44 million euros is pretty good for a player like Rasmus HOJLUND. So that'd be a good bit of money there. Harry Maguire injury update. Harry Maguire's injury is seen as minor and not deemed as serious by sources. Completed a strength and rehab session in Carrington today. Manchester United aiming for him to return on grass this week if he reacts well to the recovery. So that came out from Sully Talk. So again, is very, very reliable. So yeah, listen, I think Maguire is kind of a good thing that we have strength in depth. But yeah, I think Maguire's been an integral part, and I think when he is back, I'm sure he will start some games. But that's a bit of an update there. Some other things I want to talk about. Manchester United blocking moves for players. I will talk about that last, which will be next. So Manchester United are set to block transfers for the likes of Xerxes and Manu, who again want to leave Manchester United to get regular first team football. Obviously, it's a World Cup year for them. They want to get regular football now. You look at what's going to happen with them. It's here Manchester United appeared to block requests from players to leave in January, and amid expectant squad shortages, Manu and Xerxes have had limited playing time this season, but are both in line for key roles around Christmas time, and that is obviously due to AFCON with players like Mazraoui, Ahmad, basically a whole right entire Mazraoui, Ahmad and Burmu all going to AFCON. It will be a huge opportunity for players. Manu and as I said, they're lined for key roles with Brian and Burma, Ahmad and Mazraoui expected to be called up by their nations for AFCON, so they could very well be leaving for AFCON. So yeah, let's see what happens there. But that has been the latest updates. Let me know your thoughts.